Yeah. Got a very special guest today. Could you do me a favor and introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up? My name is Rudy Ramos, also known as Mousie, from formerly from the gang Okie Bakers in Southeast Bakersfield.
Much love, much love. Appreciate you jumping on today, G. And so I wanted to go ahead and get started from the beginning and find out how was your childhood?
Well, actually, my childhood was pretty much similar to a lot of your other interviewees. Uh, Difference in my childhood, the big difference that is I'm a Mexican and white. You
Mm,
know, my mom was white, my dad is Mexican, and I grew up in the barrio, the neighborhood, and I also was raised around the Mexican side of my family predominantly, and I had like my white side as well. So growing up in the neighborhood was extra tough for me because I was the white boy,
mm.
so I was picked on a little bit more, even by my own primos and shit. My cousins, they would call me white boy and
Kind of
shit.
like that blood in, blood out and shit. Or
Yeah, low
or
key,
fucking
kind
Paco
of
would
something
fuck with
like that.
Miklo and shit.
Right, bro, I was like, fuck you the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, fuck you, fool. I ain't white. I knowing damn well my mama's white, but in my heart, bro, I wasn't white. I didn't believe that I was. And to this day, that's what I represent. I represent Mexicano, Chicano, whatever.
Yeah.
If you get the details, yeah, I'm white, whatever.
Did that like anger you when everybody just like you she said you identify as Chicano. Nobody could take that away from you. You know what I mean? You're Chicano,
Right.
right? But did it anger you when people saw you as white? Like, look at this white boy and shit like that. Like, did that piss you off or did that cause any kind of anger or animosity inside?
Low key, yeah, yeah, low key, yeah. I would get in fights in fucking elementary school and shit, and it would also cause me to like, I guess, thinking back, retrospect, it would cause me to want to be accepted more,
Mm.
to do more stupid shit, like to, participate, in a criminal or negative activities,
How,
because yeah,
how old were you when
go
you
ahead,
started engaging in that kind of activity?
As far as like not listening to my parents and going out basically committing crimes and shit. As far as 11 or 12, somewhere around there.
That's fairly early.
Uh, yeah.
Where were your parents
Um,
at when you were out committing those crimes? 'Cause that's a young age.
yeah, well, my dad, he was always in and out of prison, the county jail. And he was the one that would have us in line.
Mhm.
When he was around, I knew better to mess up in school, or if I did, to keep it on the hush the best way I
Yeah.
could, you know. And my mom was a different story. She was like basically a pushover and would let us do whatever we wanted. I would cuss in front of her, and she would just like, but she was also on drugs, both of them. They were both like really big PCP heads, bro. Like
Damn.
really, yeah, they were really fucked up off of PCP. Like they were zombies all the time, every day. They would smoke that shit like weed, just back to back.
Yeah, I was gonna say with PCP too, it's different than other drugs because like if there's certain times like when you're doing meth, even crack or whatever, like weed, where you could semi-function. You know what I mean? Like you could be semi-functional. I know you're it's not gonna last long. You're gonna eventually go to
Mm-hmm.
become full-blown addict and you're not gonna be able to. But for a while you can semi-function. People use that shit, drive trucks or whatever. But like PCP, like you're out of it. Like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
not functioning at all. Like you like that shit's like just fucking you up. You're just fucked up.
yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, they wouldn't even know what we were doing, and we just do what we would want and stuff. Like when we were really little, before we started committing crimes, just out in the neighborhood and just getting in the neighborhood trouble, you know, getting yelled at by you know the the older homegirls and my aunts and uncles down the way, just stupid, progressive shit, just getting into trouble because they would be all messed up. But
Yeah.
they over the years, they they got so immune to it that they would start to be able to function
Oh
on
shit.
shit. Like, yeah, like it was my mom, she would smoke that shit like like cigarettes. But she would be, she would be like zombied out a little bit, but she was able to function somewhat.
That's a
She'd like
trip.
get on the bus and go run errands and shit.
Yeah, all frioed out. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Because Bakersfield,
yeah.
and Baker, my bad, bro.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
And Baker's, they have their shit's called KJ. It's known as KJ, and it's not the sherm kind. You dip the sherm in the fluid liquid or whatever. It's
Yeah.
the powder kind where they sprinkle it on parsley and roll it up in a joint. So that's how they would do that.
Is the smell the same? Like, does it have that distinct chemical smell when you burn that shit up? Or could you didn't
Uh,
notice the difference?
there is a difference, and if I smelled that right now, I would know right away. 'Cause it's just you smell the parsley, but there's something too that has that chemical too. You smell
Yeah.
parsley and a chemical.
Did
Yeah.
you ever trip out like would you ever be like playing or chilling and then you smell that like ah fuck again like or was it just so regular that you didn't even really notice it when they were getting high?
Nah, I would notice it. Like you're right. Like it would be a feeling of disappointment and yeah, just sorrow every time. Like man, again, yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
So you start committing crimes at about 11, 12 years old. How long did it take for you to link up with the homies from Okie Bakers and start, gang banging?
Uh, Pretty much they're around me my whole life because all my family, my cousins, my brothers are from there, and so like, and even my dad's from there. So like, they were around me my whole life, but like, I wasn't really into that at first. I mean, I mimicked it. Just walked around like a little gangster, but I wasn't a gangster.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was just a little troublemaker. But first of all, I like to just clear the air with Bakersfield real quick. As far as Bakers, because I hear a lot of homies and people in your interview and through other interviews and just through my whole life, uh, like from LA and different places, when they refer to like a homie or their neighborhood, they say Bakers.
Yeah.
And Bakers is a whole nother gang. It's actually a gang in Bakersfield called Bakers.
Yeah.
Bakers Trece. And then there's my neighborhood, like officially Little Okie Bakers. And then there's different neighborhoods,
There's like
Barrio,
primos
Loma.
and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Primos is actually a chapter, not a clique, more like a chapter, like their own barrio off of Loma Bakers,
Hmm.
Los Primos. Yeah, so they're like Los Primos, Loma Bakers. So they all most of the gangs, has their barrio and Bakers after it.
Yeah.
But like when I hear like the homie from Bakers, like like Bakers what? That's just like saying, oh, the homie
Yeah.
from LA.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out there. We're all different neighborhoods. Like my neighborhood don't get along with nobody, not one.
Yeah.
And we're the smallest now.
Yeah, it's a trip. We'll get into that after the gang
Yeah,
banging tip, especially and YA because I know that's where shit be cracking. You know what I mean? Like Bakersfield, there's a lot of homies from Bakersfield. You know what I mean? And they all
yeah.
meet up. So
Hmm.
actually, let's get into that. How long did it take for you to start getting arrested?
Right around there, 11 and 12.
Damn.
I would get, yeah, we would get arrested for just vandalizing shit, just terrorizing, just terrorizing the community, just doing stupid shit. But a lot of like shoplifting and robberies, and I'm like not actual robberies at that age, but
Yeah.
jack of fools and just different shit. And I remember we can't exactly remember the first time I was arrested, but like when whatever it was, they would bring us home. We were so
Mm.
little, they would just bring us home. They were
Kind of like don't
like
do
we
this shit
got like
again.
yeah, like we would get in trouble like busted at Kmart. I remember Kmart.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got busted shoplifting at Kmart and fucking they brought us home and fucking Payless drugstore, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they brought us home, and two, they got tired of bringing us home and they started taking us to juvenile hall.
How did you feel the first time you went to juvenile hall?
The first time I went to juvenile hall, I wasn't banging yet. I was more like affiliated, and it was just like some holding cells, what I mean, experiences. It's just like in the holding tank for like 8 to 10 hours and shit.
Yeah,
And that's when I was around other gang members from all over Bakersfield, and I seen that, and I was actually, I remember now thinking back, yeah, I was definitely scared because I'm little now, and fuck, I was really little then. I was
yeah,
like 90 pounds and shit, like 5'2", like 5'1", whatever. Yeah.
damn. So you get to the halls, they let you out, and how long after did you actually join your neighborhood?
Uh, about 13. Yeah, about 13. Yeah, right before, because I got busted right before I turned 14 for the last time before I went to YA.
Yeah.
And I was 13. Yeah, because I was already banging at 13.
That's it. So you're 13, you start banging, and then you said a few months later, before you turn 14, actually maybe about a year, you get sent out to YA.
Ac- Shit, actually weeks, because
Damn.
as you know, my birthday's tomorrow,
Oh, happy
so it
birthday.
was in February. You're looking, yeah, it was in February. So, because my birthday's in February, so it was like right the beginning, like the first or the second of February, when I was still 13, and they sent me to juvenile hall. And when I went to juvenile hall, they sent me to camp first. This camp,
Hmm.
our camp out there in Kern County is called Camp Owens.
Hmm.
Yeah, so they sent me to camp first, and then I failed camp, and then they sent me to YA.
So Kern County is like the first county, right? Like the where it's borderline north and south. So did you guys was that an issue in camp?
Oh yeah, actually, I didn't even think of that too. Just reminded me. Yeah, because we have Delano in our county, which is northern Kern County, right there at the borderline of Tulare and Kern.
Hmm.
And we would have a few Nathaniels from Delano. They would be at the camp, but there was like so many of us. They would not at all like give us any trouble, any hassle. But the homies always, they would always, mess with them and whatever. Like a couple of them, I remember, like the down ones, and there was a few down ones, and they would fight. Like, oh, okay, okay. I remember
Yeah.
one time we were out there at PE and we're doing jumping jacks, and we all were counting out 1, 2, 3, 1. We get to 13, and everybody's like 13, and
Hmm.
we get to 14, and everybody's like boom, like blowing that shit up, disrespecting, and the the Norteño was like F Sur, and we're like what? And like one of the closest homie to him, just like took off on him, and it's like a one-on-one. They just fought. Because the politics are a little different back then, and it still
Oh
can't
yeah,
own.
at
So.
juvenile halls, you're little kids, you know what I mean? Like
Right, right, right,
even
right.
the fact that you're like disrespecting like that, that's little kid shit, you know what I mean? It's where it's like it's just like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah, exactly.
and did you what was it that got you sent to YA? Because I know you said you're in camp and it's like what did you do where they just said, "Nah, this kid's too much."
That was a robbery and a break-in and entry.
Oh, so you got out of camp.
No, oh well, that's what sent me. So what sent me to why was failing camp.
But what from
So then,
camp got what'd you do in camp that got you sent to YA where they just thought like they had enough with you?
oh, bro, I failed camp in 2 weeks, bro. I was fighting as soon as I got there.
Damn. Oh, you
Yeah,
said
as
yeah,
soon as
because
I
you guys
got
don't get
there.
along with anyone and it's damn, yeah, that makes
Yeah. Well, back then we used to get along with this gang called Colonia Bakers,
yeah.
and there's a few of them. So I was cool with them in there, but I had a lot of enemies too. Not but because that was the only neighborhood back then that we got along with.
Yeah.
And so yeah, because I was already like on thin ice and stuff, and I just didn't listen. I was like a knucklehead back then. I was just acted dumb.
Yeah. Damn. So they take you back to court refiled on you, right?
Yeah,
Did you know
pretty
you were going
much.
to Hawaii at that point, or do you think they're gonna just like kind of extend your camp program, or were you just
Oh,
unsure?
I knew, because when they sent me to camp, they told me if you fail camp, you're going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, like my ride, because camp is like up there by this town called Lake Isabella,
Mm,
and you got to go through a canyon, Kern Canyon, and so on the way down, it's like a 45-minute drive. And I don't know, for
damn.
some reason when I'm in shackles, for some reason I throw up. I get car sick. Like
Mhm.
I don't get car sick at all, like on the outside, but when I'm on that bus or a car in handcuffs, I like get car sick.
If I just
So
do
yeah, I got car
claustrophobia
sick.
and just claustrophobia, anxiety, everything kind of just all comes all together. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's a trip. I can't understand it, but probably.
That's you threw it. What did they do? What did they tell? What did they do when you threw up?
They're they were like they handed me a bag because I had told them before. I said, "Hey man, I'm gonna throw." They're like, "Nah, you better not." And I told them off for real. And they handed me a bag, and then they stopped through the bag. Yeah, because I remember like, man, that shit stinks.
So you get back to the halls and you find out you're going to YA. How long did they sentence you to in court?
I remember it's 4 years and like 4 months. I'm not exactly sure on the month, but it was
Yeah.
four
Oh, it's not
four
too bad.
years. Yeah, yeah,
So and you're 14 at the time?
yeah. Now I'm 14.
I'm 14,
Yeah,
so
because I
so
turned 4.
you'll be out by the time you're 18, 19 years old. That's not too bad. And
Yeah.
so you get to the crazy thing about Bakersfield, right? Is
Mm.
because it's kind of like in the middle. It's so you going to SR is far and you
Mhm.
going to NR is far. So that's a long
Yeah,
drive either way. Because it's either
yeah, yeah.
Sacramento or Norwalk. Which one did you go to?
I went to NR. SR would actually be like just a little closer, like maybe an hour or two closer, you know. But I went to NR,
That's a
which is
long ass drive and shackled up. Did you throw up at that time too?
I can't remember that far back.
Yeah,
I can't really remember, and I didn't throw up every time, but
but
it
sometimes, yeah,
was a thing. Yeah, it
yeah.
was a thing.
So you go all the way up to Sacramento, and you have a long time to think on the way over there. Do you remember if you were thinking anything, if you knew what to expect, or were you nervous? How were you feeling?
Yeah, well, I remember because I went up there with uh, with this cat that I was cool with from Bakers named Criminal,
Mm,
and yeah, he was like a year or two older than me, and we were on the bus together all the way up there, and we were just basically because we already knew what YA was and what it was about because you hear about it in juvenile hall
yeah,
and you hear the rumors, but then again you hear that that's just a lot of
a lot of
what I mean
talk.
hype. Yeah, like don't drop the soap. Like when I get there, I realize that the reason why is because it's dirty. What I mean? And I'm supposed to reuse the soap, which is really stupid. But when you're a little kid,
Yeah.
that's what it was. But yeah,
So
so go ahead.
go ahead, my bad.
No, I was just saying, yeah. So on the way up there, I just remember like, and then like the cops would make stops at like Merced or Madeira to get like fucking In and Out or something, rallies, and like we could smell the food on the bus, and we
That's
just had like
fucked
a little
up.
sandwich. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you get to NR. How is it when you get over there? Like, do you just anything that you remember that stood out?
No, I just remember the gates, the big ass gates, how they wheel back and let you in, and then you could just see all those like metal mesh like screens on all
Yeah,
the dorm windows and shit.
yeah.
And then you go into like the receiving right there, and they like give you like a clipboard to fill out your information, and they just like assess you, like do dental shit and stuff like that. But I'm not exactly sure if they do it all right then and there.
Yeah. So you go through that, and how long did they end up giving you at board?
They gave me 18 months.
18 months, and
Well,
your
actually, I take that back. They Do you remember a program called the Lead program?
No, I don't remember. I don't remember that.
Like there used to be a program called in 90, because this was 95.
Okay.
There was a program at least for about a year after I was there. It lasted, called the Lead program, and it was like I think SR had it too, and or they had it in the south and they had it in the north, and it was basically like a academy where you
Mhm.
would have to like run around, do push-ups all day, and it was a
Okay.
4 month program. It was a
Yeah.
4 month program, but it was like it was a difficult thing. It was like if you're getting ready for the army and shit,
Yeah.
and yeah, they had drill sergeants and all that, and they they first committed me to that, but told me if I don't make that, then it's 18 months.
And if you did make that, what would happen?
Then as you go parole,
At four
and your
months?
parole is a little strict too. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Damn.
yeah. I
That's
know,
worth the.
right?
That's kind of worth the gamble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I already knew I wasn't gonna make it, but I was like, let's try it.
So you get to that program, and how is it? Like, what was like? Were you
No, I didn't
used to
even
them
get
being in your
to it,
face like
bro.
that?
I didn't even get to it. That's all.
Nah. So you,
No, I got in a fight. Like as soon as I went back to the dorm,
damn,
this spook, yeah, this cat from San Jose.
damn. So you get in a fight, and they
Mhm.
take that off the table like right away. Like that's it. You get 18 months now.
Yeah, right away, right away. Like they didn't tell me. Like I'm hoping that I'm still gonna go to the lead program, blah blah, blah. And I'm waiting, because I'm already committed and whatever. And I'm waiting for my ship out. And the day I get shipped out is when I found out.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah, they like slide a little, because like right there is where I first learned how to fish actually. Because
Yeah.
they had the door would be like a little like an inch off the ground parted from the floor, and you could like take top ramen and smash it and like, slide it to the across the neighbors and shit. And they would throw your mail under your door, and when you were leaving, they would slide a box on your door with the institution you were going to.
What did it say on the box?
It said OHC, OH closed.
Damn. That's what the
Yeah,
gang of
so I knew.
young motherfuckers right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the youngest institution for at that time when I was there. How they were doing things, how the state had the program set up.
Yeah.
That the littlest wards, because I was one of the littlest ones. When I got there, I went to the littlest cottage, and I was one of the littlest ones on the littlest cottage, and because they were called halls there,
Yeah.
but like really little younger wards, like even the younger ones, like little too little for Nellis, would they would send them to this hall in OH called Glen Hall,
Mhm.
and that hall had little who's than I saw in Nellis. They were even in Nellis.
Damn.
Yeah, there was like a 12-year-old and shit there.
Yeah, I heard like yeah, the young kids, like 11, 12.
Yeah,
I seen a kid in the halls. I think he was like 10 years old. He like murdered his parents and shit. And I was just like, damn. And I'm pretty sure he ended up going to OH.
yeah. Because there was somebody there when I was there for the same thing. Their parents, and another one for killing his sister's boyfriend. And
Damn.
like this little kid, a little.
And
Yeah,
how did it feel to be like put in that little kid cottage where you're tripping out? Like, oh shit, that everybody else around you look big? Like, cause I know you're
yeah,
small and there's some big boys in there. Like you
yeah.
catch that started off there and they're not even 18 years old. You know what I mean? They're like started off at 12, they're 16. And because they motherfuckers been there so long, they're fucking yoked. And
Oh
you
yeah, bro. Hell yeah, my boy. I was young back then. I was little. I was still like naive to the game, and I
yeah.
wasn't really up. I wasn't really like laced up like that. And yeah, I was nervous. I was I would say, scared for that time. And because even on that unit, not everybody was exactly little. And
Yeah.
I mean, and in that unit they had this program called the Big Brother program, and there would be like 17, 18, 19-year-old motherfuckers because they would have them in the rooms because you know how there was like in Nellis how there was it was
The dorms.
dorms and then we have in the rooms a few rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the better the wards are programming better and the higher program, the higher levels or whatever. I think they're called phases and OH are called phases. And like the phase fours would be, eligible for a room when one opens, and so they would have like bunkies in the room, and then they had like two rooms with two wards in each, so four altogether, and they were basically our big brothers. Yeah, they're called they were part of the Big Brother program,
Yeah. Did
and,
they have,
and those fools would fuck us up, bro.
I was gonna ask, yeah. That's fucked up, man. Yeah, so they would like what would they beat you guys down for? Is it just like gang shit, or was it like to try to keep you guys in line, or was it just to like bully?
Yeah, discipline. Like this, like when we get in trouble, we act out. There was a few staff. They would like they had dialect with them like that, and they would like bring them stuff from the streets and shit, like hook them up, and they would take us to their room. They would fuck us up, bro. They would
That's
whoop
kind of
our
fucked up,
ass.
man. Well, that's really fucked up because first of all, if they're way bigger than you guys at that age, because there's like I always tell everybody, there's a huge difference between a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like body wise and everything. Like you grow a lot during that time. So there's and
I remember
then what?
one was 18 too.
Yeah, 18. That's an adult already. So you got these
Yeah,
big
yeah,
fucking kids fucking with these little kids, and they're not even doing it for because of themselves. They're doing it for the staff. Like what kind of that's kind of some sellout shit. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
what?
yeah. Pretty
What?
much, bro. Pretty
Yeah,
much. Yeah, they would tell the staff what we were doing because we were still gangbang. There was still like the different ramplas, different cars, different cliques.
yeah.
There was us, the Southsiders, there was the Northerners, the Chris Bloods, and we tried to do our thing. And these fools would go snitching on us, and tell them what we were doing and shit.
Yeah, it's that's fucked up. That's like some sellout shit. That's fucked up, man. So,
Yeah.
so how long did you stay in OH?
Um, I was in OH twice. Um, the first time was about because I got there in the summer '95, about a year. Yeah, about a year, a little over a year. Cause yeah, oh yeah, cause I remember when Tupac died, I was still there.
Oh
Cause I
shit.
remember I was already getting shipped to Nellis, and they were like, cause I was in lockup right there, cause the lockup was called Inyo Hall, and I was on TD there, temporary
What,
detention
what were you in lockup for?
for fighting.
Oh, they put you in
Yeah,
lockup just for
fighting.
fighting, like a one-on-one fight.
Well, there was a few of them. Well,
Okay.
because we skipped from my when I first got there, I had a little conflict, which all led to basically me be just growing out into like just like all out YA baby, like how
Yeah.
we do, just maxing out and everything.
Yeah. So what happened? What was the conflict?
So when I first got there to that little unit to Glen Hall and OH, they still played like I said, we still gangbang and stuff, and they still tried to play the rules of the institution and what they were told, especially by the other halls. And there was this thing where when you got there, that you have to get down with one of the Northerners
Hmm.
for you had 3 days to get down with one of the Northerners. And when I got there, they didn't tell me the first day. The first day I didn't even say nothing. They just introduced themselves, whatever. And the second day they tell me like, hey, oh yeah, by the way, you got 3 days to get down with a Northerner. And I had an enemy there from oh, it doesn't matter what neighborhood he's from, but yeah, another neighborhood in Bakersfield.
Hmm.
And he was cool with basically our rep because we had like a rep, like the one that was basically like final decision and our calls and stuff. And
Yeah.
that was trouble. This fool named Travieso Trouble from Monrovia,
Mhm.
actually. I remember, and he was black. He was a black Southsider.
Yeah.
He was a homie and shit.
He ended up in
And
Dallas.
yeah, actually, yeah, he
Yeah.
did get announced. And yeah, he was there, and he was like, him and my enemy were really cool, and they're like, hey, let's make him get down with this. I don't remember his name, but it was this Norteño was like the biggest Norteño. There was like their rep. It was like their rep for the Northerners, and they wanted me to get down with them, and I felt like, nah, man, like they trying to like set me up, and this fool's big as hell. They want me to go in the room with this fool, and I'm a little ass kid, and I'm not gonna lie. At that time, I was like, nah, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, if this fool disrespects me in the open, or I gotta do something, the style right there, I can pick it up. Yeah, I'll rush that fool, but I'm not gonna go in a room with this fool. Like, why would you even do that? Like, I felt like why would you want your little homie? I'm the littlest one there go against the biggest, one of our biggest enemies.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, like so that didn't happen. And at the third day, uh, went by. On the fourth day, um, I forgot his name. So one of the other homies who just got there, uh, he just walked up to me and was like, "Keep the food out your mouth." And
Oh
I was like,
shit.
"Yeah," and I was like, "Well," I was like, "Well, what?" And I knew right there that yeah, that's not he's not supposed to tell me that.
Yeah.
So right before I could hit him, he was already swinging on me. So we both just like swung on each other, and we started fighting, and all that staff comes, breaks it up, makes us. And when I'm on the ground in handcuffs, that's when my enemy, like, because they made everybody get down and is in the day room, and my enemy is laying across from me, and he's like, he called me a level. He's like, "You're fucking level," and I was like, "Oh, all right, all right, all right," because I'm on the ground in handcuffs, I can't do nothing. But I put that in the memory bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, what happened when you came back, or you go to in OH? You go to the infirmary and go back to the dorm?
Actually, you normally go back to dorm. Sometimes they'll send you to Inyo for like a day or two, which they did eventually. A lot. But at first, like your first incident, or even a non-fight, if it's serious enough, they lock you up right there on the unit. They have a couple of those, like the dorm. I mean, the rooms that are in the dorm.
Yeah.
Two of them were a dry lockup. They didn't have a toilet or nothing. You had to come out and use the toilet. So, but yeah, it was a dry lockup, and they put you in there with nothing, basically, just your boxers and shit, and fucking. And I think back then they would give you your mattress in there. Yeah, they would give you your mattress from the dorm. Take it off
Yeah.
your bunk and shit. And that's what they did to me. They put me in there for like a day or two.
So you go into there, and then what happens when you get out of there?
Oh, as soon as I got out, I rushed that fool. My enemy. I rushed him for calling me level because I already knew that. Like I had already been told, and I already knew what a level was, and
Yeah.
especially like that, especially in my city, that's like a big thing. That's a way how to. That's one of the ways how to diss a certain neighborhood in my city. So like I knew all about that, and plus he was my enemy, and we're not supposed to fight because we're up north, and he gave me all the reason to fight him right there because and I already wanted to.
Yeah.
So yeah, as soon as they let me out, that's what I did.
What happened there? What was the ultimate decision? Like, what did they decide to do with you?
Um, well, after that, I went to Inyo. That's when I finally went to Inyo, and I was there for 3 days because I had gotten two fights now, and they brought me back, and they kind of just they seen that I wasn't a punk, and they were just like, "Hey, bro," they're just like, "Hey, just like do your thing, I do ours," because like the big brothers had like a little part of it, like they knew what was going on and told staff, and the big brothers were putting pressure on those fools,
That's
because
fucking
everybody
gay.
was scared.
That's kind of weak,
Yeah,
man.
everybody was scared of the big brothers, dog.
Yeah.
Serio. Everybody was scared of those fools. Like they were fucking big, they were adults basically
Yeah.
and shit. Yeah.
So
So
so you got so basically are you still rolling with them, or is it just like you're kind of on your own?
at that time, I was just on my own for just like a little minute because like there was only a few of us, and like I was still banging like the Norteños or a couple of Northerners coming or different people for different reasons. I would get into it and we'd get in a fight, whatever. Oh, well, basically, what ended up happening is I went to another cottage, and the word traveled from there to the other hall. I
Mhm.
mean, like there was I was supposed to be, you know, on a level to them, but because when I got there, I was as soon as I got there, because when you switch units too, you got 3 days to get down with Norteño. So I remember that rule. I got down with Norteño, and I had already got down by the time they heard that, and then they asked about like why what happened, and then I told them the whole situation, and basically they gave me an opportunity to come up. So
Mhm.
I had to get down with three Norteños to come up and defeat him again.
You know what's the trip is do they have the same rules in Norteños where they have like 4 days to get down with a homie?
Actually, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because it's crazy. Because I wonder like if they like agree to it, or like what. Like it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? It's like because they had to be willing participants. You know what I mean? And I know they're all. You mean get in your YA, everybody's down to get down. It's not a thing, but it's just
Yeah.
it's kind of weird. It makes me wonder like. Did they have like an agreement? Do we have an agreement with each other? How does that work? That's kind of crazy.
No, not that I know. I just, from what I remember, we would just call their ass out, and you know, they would have to accept the challenge
Yeah.
because it'd always be to the blinds, or if you wanted to rush one, you could. And sometimes it would, I mean, there's a chance that they're kicking off depending on the unit, and sometimes there wasn't. But there was like in that, I remember in that institution, there was a lot more one-on-ones than anything. But
Yeah.
they would still kick off too. It still kick off. But like one-on-ones, it was like almost permitted. It was allowed almost.
So you had to get down with three Northerners, and then they brought you back up.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
did
Well,
it
after
feel?
yeah.
How did it
It
feel
was like a drug program.
when you got brought back up?
I didn't even feel any different because I already knew who I was, and like those who's to me were clowns, especially what I mean, how they came at me in that unit and how they were being ran by the big brothers and just all of that. It's like to me that's I didn't really take them serious, and
Yeah.
like they could call me whatever they want, they could call me like like they call me like Miami call me Lewa. He could have what I mean called me gay. He could call me whatever. I'm not disrespecting gay people, but just saying he could have called me anything he wanted, and the results would have been the same. I'm still gonna like I'm not gonna let him disrespect me. I'm still gonna because I know
Yeah.
what why he's about. So I'm gonna hold my own. So like their opinion basically didn't matter to me, especially because he was my enemy, and then they try to put me through that. But by the time I got brought up, my bad because I interrupted you. I got sent to the drug program, and
Yeah.
that's where it happened. Yeah, and there was more people from Bakersfield over there too, so it felt a little bit better being around older wards because they're 15, 14. We're getting a little older now,
Yeah.
so it felt a little more structured, a little better.
Yeah. It seems like the younger people are, the more chaos and lack of structure there is. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's because like 13-year-olds really can't really grasp too much information at that time. It's ADHD like crazy. Cats don't really know, and they can't really like grasp certain concepts of unity or
Right.
whatever. You know what I mean? It's always like, nah, I still have a beef with him. I know I'm not supposed to, but what could I do within the rules to drop him? You know what I mean? It's kind of like kind of scandalous and shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah,
a couple of the stories I've heard. Are you there?
yeah.
All right. A couple of the stories I've heard on your show and shit. Yeah, it's like they set you up, especially in that. It's just like no mercy, no
H-
mercy. It's just like
How'd
ridiculous.
you how'd you end up getting to Nellis?
The same thing. I started getting fights in the school area, and they kept on threatening me. First, they sent me off. They kicked me out of the drug program. They were after threatening me that I was going to get kicked out of the drug program, and then I went to this unit called Calaveras, and it's one of the older units of the two. There's two of them, and it's one of the two older units in the institution, and the wards are a little big. It's a little more tougher there,
Yeah.
and so I was over there.
Yes, we had some technical difficulties, but we back. So you were saying that you got kicked off the drug cottage and you ended up at another cottage.
Yeah, this unit named Calaveras Hall.
Hmm.
And over there is a little more tougher and stuff. So basically, as soon as I got there, like homies were fighting, and I got into like a 2-on-2 in the day room when everybody else was at school. They were just like 4 or 5. I mean, there's 4 of us all together. There's 2 of them and 2 of us in the day room. I remember it was like Price was Right. Price was Right was on, and because everybody's at school and our classes were canceled, and there's a few other people in the day room, and I don't know, one of them just because it was them that was the aggressor. One of them just like just disrespected the homie, and I can't remember who it was. And then we just got into a 2-on-2, and basically that was it. From there, they sent me to Inyo Hall, the lockup, and that's where I stood until they took me to Nellis.
Were you excited to go to Nellis, or were you did you hear about anything about Nellis or?
Actually, I was excited to go to Nellis, and I didn't even get a real chance to spend no time there.
So let's get into that. Well, what happened when you got to Nellis?
So as soon as I got to Nellis, um, well, I hit Truman
Mm.
Cottage. That was the intake back then, and we would work in the kitchen, and, and I remember this shit was crazy, like because down there everybody bangs, because up north in OH, like just because there's all different gangs, there's some cats that don't bang anything. They
Mm.
they're just there, you know.
Yeah.
But down there, there's like maybe 1 or 2 on a cottage that don't bang, but everybody bangs. So different neighborhoods, and that's why I learned about a lot of different neighborhoods real fast when I hit Nellis. And yeah, because I remember when we'd go to the kitchen, they would have us cleaning the tables. They would have us out there busting the tables while the other cottage was coming in, and like they would be like whispering at you and trying to get your attention. And uh, they're like, "Where you from?" And you just like, oh, I'm from Okie Bakers or whatever. Different people telling me different shit because there's other people out there too. And one of my enemies shot at me. I don't remember what cottage he was on, but he was like coming in towards the end,
Yeah.
towards the end, of, towards the end of the cottage, because I had already got hit up like 15 times. I'm gonna try to put this other AirPod in because this one's dying out.
All right.
All right, you there?
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyhow, uh, I'm just all this is all coming back to me. It's just some of it's foggy, so bear with me as I try to
Yeah.
piece my memory back together. I've been trying to do that little by little, watching your shows, different interviews, and I've heard a lot of names that I remember and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyhow, this cottage is coming in. I'm thinking, cool, I made it. Like I've already been hit up like 20 times, and I'm at the table that's closest to the aisle that separates the other tables in the
Yeah.
kitchen, and this cat is on the other side on his table that just got there, and he's like, "Where you from?" And I let him know, and he just fucking dead homies right away, and
Damn.
it's like and as soon as he said that, I just like rushed to him, and he jumps up, and we just get in a fight, and they break it up. But when I got there, I had known because they didn't do that in OH. They
Mm.
didn't. They would say other things, or like because Leva, because like I said, when my enemy called me a Leva, I knew automatically because that was like one of the worst things you could say to somebody in OH at that time.
Yeah.
And like the shooting game all came together kind of, and from Nellis and up north, like Preston and stuff, because yeah, at first they would call it flipping your shit,
Yeah.
or like or like disrespecting, you know, your loved ones, your whatever.
Yeah.
And then they, because they would use like gun sounds like bah or boom, like boom on your hood or boom on that, and
Yeah.
that's what they would say up north. And so they brought them together in that down south. Then they started saying, hey, if they, you know, okay, I got shot at, or I shot at you, because
Yeah.
in right in Taft is where the woofing got
Oh fuck
bad,
yeah.
bad.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and they started making all that shit up, and that's where they made up the term, you got shot at, or I'm shooting at you, by, by, because they would disrespect their dead, or whatever, their family members, their loved ones, and then they would make that sound at the end, like ta 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 ta.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that's, and they started just like, hey man, I shot at you. So yeah, that's how I knew, because when I got there, they told me about, hey, if somebody tells you F your dead homies or whatever, like that's mandatory.
Yeah.
So that was the first one that I got. You see right there in Truman.
What did they do? They just did they mace you guys or anything, or just broke it up real quick, send you to the infirmary, send you back to
Yeah,
treatment?
yeah, one I don't. Yeah, I didn't get maced. They just broke this up real quick.
That's pretty cool because honestly, I used to hate that shit, especially when you're not the one fighting. You're trying to
Mhm.
eat, and they fucking mace the goddamn whole fucking the chow hall, and you're like, oh fuck you. You're like that shit sucks, man.
Yeah, yeah, yep. I've been there. Yep. And,
So
yeah, they got lucky. They got lucky.
so you get it a fight, and then they send you back to Truman, and well, what happens next?
So, like, a few days later, a week later, whatever, about a week later, um, because you remember how we used to play with each other's body? It was like,
Yeah,
like for us in Bakersfield, because they would group us together from Bakersfield, and and they would call us Butterfingers from
yeah,
Bakersfield. And that's how you disrespect Bakersfield. But in a playful way, you know how us youngsters were, and the
yeah.
other way you disrespect neighborhoods or whatever. I'm not gonna be cracking this, but yeah. So we used to play with this fool from MS, and all the time. I remember his name was Shady, and he was cool. And we used to play with them, milkshake and whatever. And he's, played back. And I don't know what it was, but one day he wasn't in a good mood or something, because his enemy got there, some fool from Florence, yeah,
Mhm.
Florencia. I think it was Kid. I think it was Kid, because Kid had came later too, because Kid was a big name in Nellis and in Fossil. Kid from Florence. I think he was from 64 or Little Locals. I don't remember. But anyways, um, they told me how to diss him, how to diss MS. So I'm like, hey, fuck, yada yada. And I disrespected his neighborhood like the real way his enemy diss him. And he turned back around and he's like, fuck your dead homies. I was like,
Damn.
oh man.
Like I
Yeah.
tried to play with this guy, and he took it to another level.
Yeah, yeah. So you know what happens after that? I just like bam, like instantly rush him. And the homie saw that too, because I remember when because I went to TAF for that. And I remember when I came back, uh the homies were like, yeah, well, you rush people right away. And I was like, ain't that what you're supposed to do?
Damn.
Yeah.
So so you already got did they end up sending you to a cottage, or are you just catching all
Oh,
kinds of fights right there in Truman?
I, I got kicked out right away. I was like, because I just like right away, I ended up getting down with another cat from Alley Boys. I don't remember his name. Alley Boys in Orange County, on that little rec yard out there in Truman. And then when I came back from that, like that same night, pretty sure it was that same night, I don't know who it was, but a homie, another Rasta, and a Blackboard just got in a fight, started fighting. I don't know what happened, and then just everybody jumped in, and I
It
was
just
part of
kicked
that.
off.
Yeah, yeah, I was part of that, and so that was it. Like they took me there to Taft, and I thought I was gonna go to a college. Actually, I thought I was gonna go to a college, or they were gonna send me to Nixon to do a little lockup program, and then from there,
And what happened in Taft?
yeah. I, well, I learned how to shoot at people. I learned I learned how to whoop. I learned what green matters were.
You know, a lot of people say
Yeah.
about Taft, it's a trip. I've heard a lot of people say that it's
Uh-huh.
like one of the worst places they ever been because of
Oh, bro.
the conditions, how cold it is, how fucking loud it is, just
Fuck yeah,
how dirty it
my
is.
my boy, that shit was terrible. I remember when I first got there. I remember the windows were open, like it was just like wires and shit. It was an actual fucking window. It's like,
Yeah, those
and
mesh windows.
yeah, blues a fucking child bread to string that they would make from the rope, from the sheets and shit or blankets, and throw it out the window and catch pigeons with that shit, bro. You ever seen that
Nah, that's, that's fucking
shit?
nuts.
Yeah, bro. The pigeons would swallow the string from the bread, and then all of a sudden they would catch a pigeon, and that should be flapping from the window.
Those are nuts.
Yeah, it's the first time I seen that shit. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah. How long did you stay there?
Like a month. I get like a month, and then they sent me back to OH.
Damn. So now you're on your way back to OH and a little older, a little bit more experience. Well, not even too much older, but a little bit more experience now. How is it when you get back? Yeah, we had some technical difficulty again, but we back. So
My
I
bad.
was asking, you get up to OH close. You got a little bit more experience now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
how is it when you get back?
When I got back, I was already like, nah, because I had learned how we're supposed to do things, so to say, back then.
Yeah,
Now, obviously, in retrospect, how we were supposed to do things as young gangsters and what, the politics, the why politics were really like, and just different things. And I wasn't wanting to go back there. So, like, right away, I was like, nah, like, as soon as I get there, like, I'm gonna do what I got to do to go somewhere else.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so did you end up doing? Did you end up doing something to get out of there?
yeah. As soon as I got there, uh, I don't even remember what hall they sent me to, but as soon as like I didn't even get a chance to get to my bunk, the first northerner I saw, I rushed them, and they're like, "Oh, okay, you again," because they already knew me. They're like, "All right, we were trying to give you another chance," because I guess that's what they said when I got there. It's like another chance at what, like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Were
because like,
were you
oh
maxed
wait,
out at that point?
uh, no, I don't think so. I don't think I'm maxed out yet. I
Damn.
still have board for the shit I did in Alice either.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So you rush somebody and then do they kick you out right away or do they just put you in lockup and try to figure out what they're gonna do with you?
Oh yeah, they just put me in lockup and then they sent me to Paso, but first they put me in Preston lockup while I waited till I turned 16 because I was still 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sent me to Preston lockup till I turned 16 because it was only for like 2 months or whatever
That's
until I
not too far either. Was it like 45 minutes away?
from OH.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's only like 45 minutes away from OH.
Well, that's kind of crazy. How come they just didn't keep you in lockup in OH?
Well, for one, they don't have too much lockup space.
Oh, okay.
It's not that big, and then there was other people in there and shit that they needed the space for, and
Yeah.
like, and I think that's why they said they were giving you a chance because when I got there, I think it was a fluke. I was supposed to go to Preston
Yeah.
in the first place, and I ended up back in OH. They messed up, and Cause yeah, like I said, I never went to board. So like they never said, hey, you're going anywhere. I was just like in that list. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And all of a sudden, bam, I'm on the bus and I'm back in OH. And now after that, I'm in a Tamarack. I'm in
Yeah.
Tamarack, Preston, waiting to turn 16 to go to Paso.
Damn.
Paso Road.
And was that lockup as bad as Taft, or was it a little bit more up to date?
Oh man, it was like, God, bro, it's like comparing like dog shit to cat shit. You know, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
like man, it's like first of all, it was like a dungeon. It was hella
Yeah.
old. I remember like they had this like metal heater in your cell, and you could warm up your and bake your fry your bologna. You know that mystery meat they give you?
Yeah.
You can fry that shit on that little fucking heater in there, bro.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Damn. So you stood there till you're 16, and then what happens when you get to Paso?
Oh, as soon as I got to Paso, yeah. First of all, I was relieved. It was a lot better. That's only 45 minutes from Bakers.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of homies from Bakersfield there. I had homies there from my neighborhood. So I was happy. As soon as I got to Paso, I was happy. And it's like more united. There's like, you know, it was more, you know, it's like, because up north, there's like only like 5, sometimes 3, sometimes 10 at, you know, our good moments, the outsiders. And right there, it was like Nellis, except now they're older
Mhm.
and closer to Bakersfield. There's more people from Bakersfield that they know what Bakersfield is. And now it's just like, where you from? Bakers? Like, what's that up north? Like, nah, man. You know? Mm-mm. So yeah, that was cool as soon as I got there. About that for that reason.
How long did you last there?
I was I got there in 97 and I left at the end of 99.
Oh, so you,
And
you spent a good 2 years there.
yeah, I was there for a while.
Oh, cool. So was that like finally a place where you're able to program and chill, or was it a place where just like 2 years you're just running amok?
Yep, that's what it was. I finally got to get out my little energy that I almost got out of Nellis. I got to
Yeah.
go on my and Paso Robles.
What happened in '99?
Well, it started in 97 as soon as I got
Yeah.
there. They sent me to the drug program there. I remember they had two the cottages. One was called Los Osos East and one was
Uh-huh.
called Los West. And they sent me to Los Osos West. And I was programming there for a little bit, just getting to feel things, checking it out. It's not like I was looking for trouble either, but I had a homie, Lucky, in Cambria, which was a lockup program, and you know, I grew up with him. I know him from when I was really little, from my neighborhood, and
Yeah.
that's the first time I get to see, you know, I mean, one of my homies from my neighborhood since I've been in Y, and you know, I've been in Y now for like 2.5, you know, about 2 years. So it's
Yeah.
the first. So I'm like, all right, uh, there was a homie, not gonna put his name out there, but he decided to not play the reglas no more. He didn't want to follow the rules, you know, the and be feeding Marasa no more. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so like there were, and he was cool too. I remember he used to let me use his shoes for visiting, and that's why I felt really bad. You know, it's another good reason why I'm talking to you, so I can get this off. You know what I mean, off my chest, as well as other people can hear my story and learn from our mistakes. But
Yeah.
it's also get it out. But yeah, this guy, you know, he didn't want to follow the rules no more. And I remember him telling me like, "Yeah, I'm a man and I want to stand on my own as a man." And now looking back, I have so much respect for that. But back then, I was like, "What do you mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, we're a gang. You know what I mean? We're a raza. Like that's not how it works." And so we had a little meeting and shit, and it wasn't like everybody, but I remember it was like 7 or 8 of us, and they were talking about it. And they're like, who are we gonna get to do it? Who could we ask? And I just volunteered. I was just like, hey, I got it. I'll take care of it.
Damn. So you had to rush them, pack them out, or what would you have to do exactly?
So I planned it out, and ooh, bro, check this story out, man. Fucking all right. So I got some from the wreck yard. I remember I got some gravel. There was some
Yeah.
loose. Yeah, there was. Yeah, I heard them. There was some loose gravel out there, the blacktop.
Yeah.
And I took it out and I brought it in the dorm. And the night I was gonna do it, I don't know if you remember or if they had it in Nellis. I can't remember Nellis as well because I was only there for a brief time. But do you remember a TAC team?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like the tactical team and shit. Fucking not just the security, but the ones trained the TAC
Yeah.
team. Yeah, I know you know, but for the people listening, fucking they came and they surprise searched us. You know, they did a surprise search of the whole unit, and they used to do that once in a while, like for drugs or whatever, contraband. And I had those rocks. I didn't have them in the sock or nothing. I had them in the window. Because, you know, that my bunk was in front of and shit. And they made us all go to the day room. I first searched the day room, and they made us all go to the day room in our boxers. And this was at night. They came at night, like right before bedtime. And I remember that movie Thinner by Stephen King.
Oh yeah. That's just a
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah, we had just finished watching that on a, I don't know, DVD or VHS, whatever was popping in. And I remember though, and we watched that while they were in there in the dorm searching everything. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna cancel plans, you know, because they're gonna find that shit. And I hope I don't get in trouble for it, for one. I'm like, fuck. But they went through the whole thing, searched everything, and didn't find shit, bro. Didn't find shit, my
I
boy.
probably just look like loose fucking, you know what I mean? Window shit.
Yeah, I mean, they got later on, they got in trouble. Whoever was in charge of that operation, and they all got in trouble because that was a big thing. Because fucking, they ended up this was my case right here. Basically, this is my this is a big part of my duration of my stay too. And reason why I stayed so long because of the 4 years. Well, it turned into longer.
Damn.
We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, this was a case right here that I picked up. So I went back to my bed and shit and sent us all back. And I looked in the window and it was still there. So I told my bunkie, and he was like, oh shit, because he was like wondering. I was bunked up with a homie, I don't remember who. And he was like, oh shit, that shit's still there. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, I'm still gonna do it. You know what I mean? And so this was even more surprise. This shit just happened. TAC team just came. And now I got this mission that I have in my mind because I had every intention. I had to pump myself up, planned it out, you know.
Yeah.
And that TAC team came, but it was still there. So I'm like, hey, I got socks on my feet, and that's there. You know what I mean? Fuck whatever else happened just now.
Yeah.
And so I told a homie, and he's like, all right, yeah. And we whispered to a few other homies, let them know and shit. Because remember, I was little. So they're like, you know, just in case that motherfucker get the, you know, nigga homie's gonna jump in for me, you know.
Yeah.
I'm little. But I waited a little bit, wait till it's clear. And I just remember snapping my fingers, you know, to go to the restroom. And I just remember snapping my fingers, and I just took it with me. And instead of going to the bathroom, I went around this little like short wall they have right there before the honor rooms, because they have honor rooms in the dorm there.
Yeah.
This too. And so they have a couple of bunks lined up right across from in front of the short wall that's on, you know what I mean, opposite side of the barracks, the main dorm.
Yeah.
So he was asleep right there. And I just remember like saying his name and like, hey, I said his name, and he just opened his eyes and I just hit him. And yeah, I kept hitting him, and he started crying and screaming and was like, stop. And I stopped, you know, because I felt bad. I heard it. Like I didn't right away, but it started, after a few seconds, I was like, man, like, what am I doing? Stop.
Yeah.
And then he sat up and I ran back up on him. I was like, what's up? And he's like, no. I remember him like putting his hands up, like his arms, like, no, like I'm cool. And I was like, all right, And then that security, the Ninja Turtles and security and ones in the ninja suits came in and just slammed me on the ground. I had threw the pack. They found it, of course, and took me to lockup.
You know what's the trip about that is that like you said, in hindsight, like looking back as a ward, you did your
Mhm.
thing. You know what I mean? Like you did what you had to do and shit. Like that was G shit, right? Looking back though, that's like as an adult in hindsight, it's kind of fucked up because like that fool just wanted a program. He wasn't even bothering anybody. You know what I mean? But everybody was against him, and that's one of the things that I think the
Yep.
most fucked up thing about YA is that you could do whatever you want to a point, but it's as long as you're as long as you're willing to be violent and roll with the punches, you know what I mean? And it's like as soon as you say, nah, man, I just want to chill, cats are gonna look at you differently. And
Yep.
It's fucked up, man.
Yep. That's exactly what happened. And then, especially the severity of it, like, because when I went to lockup the next day, or that night, but the next day when I came out for to sign some papers, actually to get my rights read to me. Yeah.
Oh shit, Miranda rights?
Now that I remember, they read my rights and shit. And he was in a cage in another part of that area. And I remember him just looking at me like, like kind of sad. And
Like what the fuck?
he was like in a sling,
Shit.
whole messed up. Yeah, like, and I found out that I broke his arm and he had to get like staples in the back of his head and like all kinds of different shit. Like, basically, long story short, they gave me when they took me to court, they gave me assault with a deadly weapon and GBI, great
How,
bodily.
how old are you?
I was 16 still.
Damn.
Yeah. So when they took me to court, they were they were going to try me as an adult, but I was still a juvenile, so they started off in the juvenile process, and they were talking about, hey, this is what you're looking at, and you can be tried as an adult for all this. And it was like 19 years.
God
Or something.
damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your camera.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay. But anyways, it was like 19 years. And then they were like, but if you just admit to it and take a plea deal, we will keep you in YA and we'll just give you 7 years. We'll drop these charges, whatever charges, and we'll just keep the great bodily injury and we'll give you 7 years. And, concurrent with whatever I already had, just add that into it.
Yeah.
And because the superintendent had wrote a letter, from what I heard, I don't know. Her name was Kate Brown or Kate Thompson. My bad. That's our governor in Oregon. Kate Thompson. Yeah, I remember she was real famous there, man.
Yeah.
And she would have a lot of shit done to her. She was part of that tactical team. She was part of the gym TD, which we'll get into in a little bit. That made us go to the gym when we would get into riots in the dorm.
Yeah.
But this is how I basically started my stay though in Paso. And she was like supposedly she wrote a letter and said, hey, if he's willing to take this deal, I'm willing to give him another chance and keep him here in the institution. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I don't want to be in YA. I'm already like 16. I got this attitude like, nah, fuck this shit. I can go to prison and there's more privileges in prison. I wasn't thinking right. I was thinking stupid. And I remember the staff member named Bobby. We used to call him Bobby. His name was Robert Larson.
So you said Bobby Larson pulled you aside, started talking to you?
Yeah, he pulled me to a little room where he said, your caseload, how you'd be on a, like one of the staff would be your counselor and shit.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even my counselor. Because I remember back then who my counselor was, because I did a little long stretch there and then a lot of things happened to me in that place, like abuse and other things. So I remember that place a lot better than other places. But anyhow, yeah, he pulled me to the side and he told me, basically talked sense to me. He was like, you don't want to go to prison. You're going to get a felony. You're going to be gone forever. Like you could, it doesn't matter how much time they give you. You could stay in YA and you have another chance at life and all this other stuff. He's like, once you do that, you're not going to have another chance.
Yeah.
And yeah, that just really stuck with me that night. And I just thought about it. And I when I went to court, whenever I did, was that next day or whenever it was, I took it. I told him, all right, I'm into it. If you just keep me in YA.
Damn. So that makes your max, that changes your max from when you're what, 20, no, 18 to your
Yeah, it
what,
was.
25?
Yeah, I think it was December of 1999. My max was or some shit, and it went from there all the way to October 2005.
Damn.
Which yeah.
Shit. So what happens when you get back?
As far as from court or
Yeah, like you get sentenced already, you go back to Paso.
well, I was just going back and forth to court from
Oh, okay,
Cambria.
so they didn't put you in the county or in the halls or anything. You're fighting it from Paso.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They to give me the additional time at once they did all the agreements and everything, they sent me back to Bakersfield for like a week, and then I just went right back to Cambria to lock up in Paso.
Damn.
I was in Paso in lockup in Cambria twice for two total of basically like almost the whole time I was in Paso. I was only in the main twice, 2 different times for a short period of time. Like I did 18 months and then like 6 more months in Cambria. So I was in there for a long time.
Damn. What happened when you were in Cambria?
Well, like the staff would set us up, man. The staff would like make it to where we would just like stay there. You know how it would be. It's just like any other place how the staff would set you up. Just in this place, they would let us fight. I remember when I first got there, because the whole purpose was to get there. My homie Lucky,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I roll up, and as soon as I get there, like, yeah, we have this shit called Rock and Roll Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And they're like, it's when the staff come to your door and ask you who you got a problem with, and they let you go to the day room and you guys handle it. And I was like, oh, they do it like that here? And like, yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, and like, I got into a few fights there out that way, but I also got into, just to fights in the moment. And when you would fight in the moment without their permission and shit, which we had to, because it would put us in predicaments, how, according to our little politics, and they would just extend our time there. Because you would have to get on, like, I don't remember what it was. It was called phase level, what it was in there.
Yeah.
But a program, but whatever the highest one was, you graduate the program and then you go back to the main line. And I would just keep getting bumped down, and just like I couldn't get to that high phase and graduate because I would get in fights. They would take me out to shower with somebody that we're not supposed to be out with, or like we got on green light, or I have problems with, or and it's not the certain staff that will let us fight, or they're not there at that time, the certain staff that lets fight.
Yeah.
And so that would happen when we get in fights like that. But the way they would punish us, which we later on went to court for, they subpoenaed a lot of us as witnesses basically against the Hudas, the cops there, because they would abuse us, and they got in trouble for that as well, for basically allowing us to fight, forcing us to fight. Like, they would do it like gladiator style. They would put one of us in one corner, the other in the other corner, and like make us roll up.
Go.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, man.
Literally like ding ding. And like if one of you falls and the other hits the other, then we're gonna mace you and all this. So it was just like a clean fight though, But yeah, and they would also, the way they would punish us is they would roll all of our shit up for little minor infractions, for like talking past 10 o'clock or some talking too loud or the fighting or whatever. They would roll our shit up and they would keep it outside your door, all rolled up, and you'd be in that hollow ass metal room with nothing but
Damn.
your underwear and maybe a roll of toilet paper. And then they had this other thing called Ramadan, and it was like it was a program that the staff set up there, and basically what it was if you fucked up and you got in trouble, they would withhold your meals
Oh
until
fuck.
the sun went down.
Damn.
Yeah, and then when the sun went down, they'd give you your meals, and that's what they call it, Ramadan.
Yeah, because it's like the Muslim month of,
Yeah,
this is a one
yeah,
month or a week, I forgot, of Ramadan, where they can't eat while the sun's up.
yeah. We can't eat or drink, and yeah, it was like that. It was basically they got it from that, but you know, it wasn't Ramadan season.
That's fucked
Yeah,
up, man. And
yeah.
damn, like, what would happen? Would anybody write grievances on that shit, or was it just like,
Hey, throw that shit away, bro. They were all fucked up, man. The way they did things, like they would get the you know, remember the Thogger, the big canister of
yeah,
mace? They would get that shit, and especially after we rolled it up and we had no clothes on at that, and just our underwear, and they would fog our whole room up and fucking close the door, yeah, and just leave us in there for like 10 minutes burning until they would finally let us take a shower. And they would do that for like there was a certain, like there's a staff named Cerna,
yeah,
a staff named Sam fuck, I can't even remember that bitch ass fool's last name, but fuck both of them because they abused us. And yeah, they were especially trigger happy with that fogger. They would fog us out bad, and we'd be in there burning, and it would be for anything. You know, we couldn't even get smart with them. So and that happened to me a lot.
yeah. You know
Yeah,
what's fucked up about that is that they're supposed to be adults. They're supposed to know better. You know what I mean? And all they're doing is creating trauma and fucking, like, they're creating more hostility for these young guys becoming criminals. You know what I mean? Like, and it's fucked up, man, because like, I used to always think to myself back then, and I still think this day that this part hasn't changed. Like, these are guys, these are a bunch of punks. You know what I mean? These staffs are punks. They were punks as kids, and now they grow up, they have a little bit of power, they're gonna abuse it because they're bitches in their heart.
man, exactly. Like I can't see how, looking back, and like you said, like how could they allow us to do things that what we did, and then on top of it, what they did to us, like that guy Sam, he ended up getting a a year in jail and some probation. He got like actual felony charges and shit.
Good, yeah,
Like
you can't be doing that shit. These are children too. Like,
yeah,
I'm a 37-year-old man. There ain't no way I'm putting my hands on a child.
yeah. And then
You know
the
what I mean?
gym team, they've had us all over the state. Like when I was in Chad and different institutions, they would come from Sacramento and with these special badges and take me way up front to the main headquarters of the institution. I forgot what the
Yeah,
administration, and they take me up there, yeah, and they would and like interrogating, like what did they do and shit. And you know, there were cops, so it didn't matter. We could tell them anything about the cops, and you know, they were the enemy, and that's the only way to get back to them. You know,
yeah.
so like shit, you know, in another circumstance, you know, my dad would be snitching, but when it comes to the cops, we snitching our ass off. We telling them everything. Yeah.
And so, damn, how long did you said you ended up staying there for 2 years dealing with all that abuse?
Well, 18 months the first time, and then I went to the main line, got into some more shit, and then went back for like 6, 8 more months, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, 6, 8 more months, something like that. But it was different by the time I went back to, it was a change and stuff like that. Because I was still 17. Because I went in there at 16. I turned 17 in there, and then I got out in October of 98, yeah, of 98. I remember I went to Morrill Cottage, the main one of the on the main line of Paso. And that was one of the tougher cottages, one of the more active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what ends up happening to get you sent back to lockup?
Same shit, fights and a couple of group disturbances. Cause like as soon as I went to Morrill, because like when I was in Cambria, basically, there was this cat there from 18th Street, and my bad to all the homies from 18th Street out there. But he shot at me back then in Cambria, and he was no good, and I didn't really expect it to be repercussions behind it, especially him not being no good. So he was like, F your dead homies, through the door. I never got a fight with them. I never saw them. But, and I said it back, so I shot at him back. So basically, I shot at 18 at that point. I ended up having to get down with everybody from 18 at scene from that point on for the Hawaii stay and other neighborhoods. But that's the worst because 18 is so big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was just like, how I was just thinking, not disrespectful, but just of neighborhoods that are big, and like your neighborhood's a big one. I remember Chippy in OH. I remember that little motherfucker. Yeah, he was little too, like me.
Yeah. That's the boy right there.
Yeah. But anyways, his fool was named Trigger from I think Smiley Drive. Yeah. Trigger from Smiley Drive, West Side 18. And or South Side 18, actually. And anyways, whatever 18 he was from, there was another cat there, another homie from 18 named Trigger from King Boulevard. And that is West Side, I remember. And me and him went to Morrill Cottage and got released from Cambria Cottage the same day. At the same time, basically. Well, they would let you out the cottage door and you walk, the trade line, you walk the line, the little white line that goes around in a circle in the middle of the institution. You walk it to your cottage. So I walked all the way to my cottage. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I walked all the way to my cottage. Or actually, he went first. They let him first because the staff in Cambria knew, and you know how staff didn't know other staff in different cottages and shit, and cool with certain ones. So they had let one of the staff, or the staff basically, in Morrill Cottage know what's going on between me and this guy from 18th Street Trigger, and that basically we're gonna get down when they let us out.
Yeah.
And the staff from Cambria did. So what happened was, as soon as I got there, they had him in the shower area, and all his stuff was down, and they were like, "Okay, come here." And they called me to the shower area, and they're like, "Hey, how you doing? What's up?" And they kind of stepped to the side, and he was like in clear path of me. So before he could run up on me, I just ran up on him, and we just started going at it. And we fought right there in the shower, and it was a pretty good fight too, because by then I was starting to get a little better because I'm so small, and in Cambria, I got my ass whooped a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I learned how to fight. So, and he's my size kind of. He was a little bigger, but he was my size kind of. And so it was a good fight. I remember I busted his nose and gave him a black eye, and the staff stopped us. They're like, "All right, you good? You good? Is that your system?" And we both were like, "Yeah." And that was that. They just let us put our shit, and we went into the dorm. So we didn't get in trouble for that fight. But I got into 3 fights in the school area. One of them I got away with. The other 2 were my fault because I ran up into somebody's class. And then one of them ran up in my class because I basically had spoke up on this cat that was in an OH with us and was saying some stuff about him that he was doing in OH that, was looked down upon. And he heard about it. And we basically shot at each other, and I shot him a kite back, letting him know what classes I was in. And so he came in my class. I remember that he did his, and we got in a fight. And that's the one I didn't get in trouble for because he came in my class.
Yeah, he busted a Superman.
Yeah, he busted Superman. You know, he knew what class I was in. He came in there. And I remember that fool hit hard. I was like, damn. That's one thing I remember about him, man. I was like, damn, like his hits, I was feeling his hits, man. But yeah, so there was that, and then it kicked off on Moral that I was part of too. Until I basically was part of that. That's what sent us to Gym TD when I was part of that, right? And I got sent to Pismo after a couple fights. And then in Pismo, I basically packed somebody else on the trade line, but me and somebody else did it, and I didn't use the pack. I just, you know, with my hands and shit. And that's when they sent me back to Cambria. But yeah, if you want to talk about the GMTD, I'll tell you about the little incident on Moral.
Yeah, because we were talking to Trouble from Little Watts, and he was telling us a little bit about that, saying that in a gym TD, it's basically they throw you in the gym. Do they? I believe he said they handcuff you to the bed. Do they handcuff you?
There's no beds, bro. But they handcuff you, all right. They handcuff you in the front at least, but they're real handcuffs. They're not the plastic shit.
Yeah.
You know, those little plastic things they put on people. They were the, you know, the iron cuffs, and they kept them on us the whole time we were there for 3 days. So basically, what happened was there was these two cats there from Treetop Pyru.
Yeah.
One, I guess they were known cousins. There was three of them named Joker, Batman, and Robin. And Joker and Batman were on Moral. And you know, so they were really close. And I think it was Trigger, the fool that I got down with when I first got there. They were playing in because Trigger had threw a cookie at one of the homies. You know how the homies used to knock it out, fuck around at night. Yeah, he threw a cookie, and it hit Joker, and like, you know, broke up in his bed and shit. And you know that this was a G, you know, he's a gangster, and he's like, "What the fuck?" You know, jumps up and he throws a fuck, you know, like, who the fuck threw that fucking, you know what I mean, dead homies.
Damn.
Yeah. So Trigger's like, "Oh shit!" So he, you know, rushes him, runs over there, and as soon as he does that, a few homies run, and his homie Batman, who was in the front, instantly, because that's his homie, runs back there. So it just went from there all the way to my bed, and my bunkie was a African American, which was cool. He was a friend, you know, but you know how it goes.
Yeah.
So me and him started fighting, and I'm more closer to the staff's office because I would fuck up. I was getting in trouble and shit. So, you know what I mean? They put the more fuck ups closer to the office. So I'm one of the ones that was identified and got caught. But long story short, they sent us to the Gym TD. And the Gym TD was basically, they would put us in the gymnasium. They had, you know, the wooden floor like a court. And they would do different things to us. They would put us on our knees. They would make us stand with our hands out with the cuffs. They would make us sit down with our hands on our lap and our ankles crossed. They would do different things, and they would do these things for hours at a time in this 3-day span. And they would just give us a sack lunch with a hard-boiled egg, 2 pieces of bread with a slice of cheese in it, no meat, a carton of milk, and an orange. That's literally the contents of the bag, I remember.
Damn.
And then at night, it was the same thing, but instead of a hard-boiled egg, it was like a thing of graham crackers.
What happened? How would you guys sleep? Because I know you said there was no bunks.
And they wouldn't let us sleep. They would keep us up all night and do this to us all night. And then like around maybe like between 2 and 4, they would give us a mattress because there was a bunch of mattresses like stacked up on the side. And they would give us a mattress and they would let us go to sleep until like 6, just for like a few hours. And there was no blanket, nothing, just that mattress and your handcuffs. And you would just get up. I think we had a shirt. We had a shirt and our underwear. And then no socks, I don't think. I can't remember, so don't hold me to that. But yeah, and then they would just pull the mattresses, and then we would have to stand back up for the rest of the day. They were get on our knees. If somebody made any sound or anybody talked, they were getting beat the fuck up, first of all. And
Damn.
the rest of us were on our knees for like 2 hours or whatever. That shit was hurting.
That's enough to break a child. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, you guys are just kids, man.
Oh yeah. They got in big trouble for all that shit, man. Like,
You know what it's fucked up. You had to go through that, and you know what's really fucked up is that in YA, the majority of the people in that were in YA seen the streets. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's not like there was hardly anybody who went in there and got life. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure there maybe were a handful of cats, you know, because there's fools that wild out. Maybe somebody killed somebody in there or something like that. But the majority of people that went in there got out. I'd say 99%. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
this is no
Yeah,
way to rehabilitate them. This is no way to get them ready for the streets. All you're doing is
making
causing,
us work.
yeah, causing more anger in these fucking kids. What the hell? Like it's fucked up, man.
We're a bunch of damaged youth, and they're damaging us more.
Yeah.
At that point, that's all they're doing is just damaging us more, you know. But yeah,
Normalizing violence and yeah, it's just fucked up, man.
yeah,
So you stood there for 3 days?
yeah. Jim TD, yeah, for 3 days.
Damn. And at the end of that, how did you feel? Like at the end of knowing you were going back, were you relieved? Were
Like,
you tired? Were you drained?
like I never want to do that again.
Damn.
Like I hope this fucking cottage don't kick it off again. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, is this shit squash? Is everybody cool with that cookie and everything? Because this Jim TD ain't good.
And you know
Yeah,
what's crazy is that little incident, like you said, 18 was really deep. So that
yeah,
incident probably triggered some other shit with them. You know what I mean? With the two original people, where they had a lot more fights that they had to get into, and it's all crazy because it's the thing about youth incarceration is there's so many misunderstandings. Where you can be like, my bad. You know what I mean? Like fuck it, but nobody wants to accept an apology or nobody wants to apologize in there. It's
oh yeah.
crazy, man.
You already know it's the toughest of the toughest. Hi, baby. Excuse me real quick.
Yeah. Do you want me to
Okay.
stop
Yeah,
recording?
my baby boo got home from work.
All right, all right.
We getting ready to go to the casino after this in a little bit, a couple hours.
Cool, cool. Well, you know, let me ask because we did it to good. We did some good stories so far. So what happened when you got out of Paso? Where'd you end up next?
Oh, they sent me to Chad. They sent me because when you turned 18 there and you were fucking up like that, they were either sending you to Chad or YTS,
Yeah.
you know, the adult institutions. And they sent me to Chad.
How long were you there?
I was in Chad twice also, but I was there the first time. I got there in December 99, and they kicked us out in the summer or the fall of 2000 is when they kicked us out.
You ended up going to YTS.
Yeah, YTS.
How was it when you got to YTS?
Well, when I got to YTS, it was way different for that little period of time in just that group.
Yeah.
Because when we got there, we had a lot of animosity towards each other because different units and Chad, you had different politics, and some of them looked down on the others, and the other ones had beef with different. And then there was also beef from the cats that were still coming from Paso Robles and in Ellis to YTS. And we got like this basically, you know how YTS is, you know, we're on A and B. So we got all four wings, both basically all Chad, you know what I mean? All kinds of members, all wards from Chad and shit, because we all coming from Chad. So there's homies on every wing and shit. So like as soon as we get there, we start kicking shit off. We start
with each other.
With each other and you know, yeah. We start kicking it off with each other. We start kicking it off with the blacks because there was a few greenliners that came from.
Oh yeah, no shit, yeah.
Yeah, and then because it's orientation, so it's like everything was all scrambled. So they sent me back to Chad for a lockup program. Like they
Damn.
used to send the Northerners to YTS for a lockup program. They sent me to Chad for a lockup program.
How was that? Being back up there.
That was fucking, man. I remember that shit was so lonely and like isolated. Like, first of all, I think I was like, there was already a few homies there, but we were like separated. So it was like it was like lonely, like, and depressing, because for one, it was up north, and I remember it was starting to get cold again. It was winter, and those little, because the lockup unit was Kern and Sacramento, and I was on Kern at first before I went to Sacramento. Before I could make it to Sacramento, I almost caught a case because they caught a razor blade in my room. It caught me with one in my room because I was outnumbered, so I would take that shit with me everywhere. Even though we only came out in shackles, like I would always have that because you never know, they could open a door on accident, because there was Northerners everywhere, and those were the active ones because it was the lockup unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we done a lot of shit when we were in Chad, and so they weren't over that shit. They still wanted us. Like,
It's not like they're gonna say, "Oh, that's cool. He left."
yeah.
He's back now. It starts over. Like, hell nah, I'm motherfuckers remember.
Like, yeah, we're okay, man. Yeah, like, no, it's fucking. That's the thing though. Like, there was a lot of rumors about us, and I want to clear the air. No disrespect to nobody, especially them. We're all grown adults. That's all stupid. That's why I said formally at first. I'm still from my neighborhood, but I don't think that no way no more. I'm about 40 tomorrow. I got kids. I'm doing good in life. I'm doing way better. I've turned my life around. But for the same, there was a lot of rumors basically that the Northerners ran us out, the Southsiders out of Chad, and that's not true at all. Well, we ran ourselves out. I don't know how to. Yeah, we ran ourselves out basically. We got kicked out. We got the boot because every time we would come out, we would do violent acts.
Yeah.
And, and they had a part of that obviously, but it wasn't like, oh, like there's too many of them, they're in danger, get them out of here. Like if you were to take them to YTS, like they gotta go. It's what I mean, and it's because they would be hurt. But up there, up north, there was still enough of us to hold our own. So like when we got kicked out to YTS, that was why, because we were the aggressors. We all fucking had level B's and paperwork on us and shit.
All right, dope. So how long did you stay up there for that second time?
I stood there for the first half of 2001. Yeah, so about 6 months.
Damn.
6
month lockup program, and then you go back down to YTS, and so you have another 4 years still?
Yeah, but
Damn.
Fucking, I still have I still have a PCD day in 2000.
Shit, so you're not maxed out yet? All this shit, you're still not maxed out?
No, I'm not maxed out yet. And I caught that case, or almost caught a case with the razor blade.
Damn.
I still, because I paroled and then came back.
Oh shit! How long were you out on parole? When'd you parole? Actually, what year?
In December 2002, and violated about October of 2003.
Oh, that's fucked up because you were out a minute.
Yeah.
How did you adjust? Like, how did you stay out that long? Because normally, if you're out that long, like, you're gonna make it. Like, it's usually 2 to 3 months that are the hardest fucking times.
Yeah, I mean, I just got tired of doing right. Basically, I wasn't ready at that age and that time. I just wasn't ready for that. Like, I still had a bad attitude. I still had a knucklehead attitude. I still wanted to be active. I still wanted to do dumb things. I didn't care. Still, I didn't have kids. That's what changed me, my kids. And because I didn't care about nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care about myself, and there's no fucking way I'm gonna care about anything else. You know? So like, yeah, I got tired of it, and I wanted to smoke weed. And you remember why, bro? You ain't smoking weed.
White parole sucks. Like that shit. They'll keep you there till you're 25 too on that fucking parole.
Yeah, bro, that's you're fucked up. But so I was like, fuck this, I'm out, and I went to Texas, to Houston, and I was only out there for 2 months until they caught up with me.
Damn. So they caught you in Texas?
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah,
No, they extradited you?
yeah. They caught me with a bunch of guns basically in a hotel, and they searched and searched me, or searched and seized me because I was on parole. But the thing was, I was not ever committed to parole in the state of Texas. I was committed in California. So they violated my rights because they had no jurisdiction over me.
Yeah.
And that's what my public defender told me, because they're good in Texas. And the public defenders, at least back then, I don't know how they do it now, but they were actual real lawyers. Every lawyer in Texas, attorney, is obligated by law of the state of Texas to pro bono cases for like so many hours. It adds up to like
Damn.
3 or 4 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, a year. So that's how they get their public defenders, by doing it in that method. So he was good, and he told him like, "Hey, why did you search my client?" And they were like, "Well, he's on parole." And they're like, "He's on parole in Texas?" And they're like, "No." And they're like, "Well, then that's double jeopardy."
Yeah.
You know. So I got off on that, and I'm like, "Whoo."
Violation of the Fourth Amendment and shit. Like you have no right to. That's no right for that search and seizure.
Yeah, yeah. So I got lucky in that aspect, but I didn't get lucky because they gave California 14 days to come get me.
Fucked up.
Yeah, and California got me on the 14th fucking day.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they flew me back on a regular airplane too.
Oh yeah, cuffed up.
Yeah, well, they had you remember the fucking windbreakers in YA?
Yeah.
They brought one of them, and they had holes in the pockets and the shackled me in the front, but they didn't have no leg irons. They just had a rod in my pant leg, and it locked when you were walking, so it made you limp, so you can't run.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember they put me on and still to this day, my boy, it's the only time I flew in Continental Airlines.
So you get back to YA, they send you to SR, they send you to YTS.
They sent me to NR. I remember they sent me.
NR?
Oh yeah, they sent me an NR, and I only had 2 years left that I had somehow savored from all the shit I was doing in there, and they gave me a year of the 2 years, and instantly I was like, "You got me fucked up. I ain't about to do that parole shit again.
Yeah.
I'm doing those 2 years." So
where'd you end up going from NR?
DeWitt.
Do it, yeah. Why do they do that? Like just because you're on, like I noticed that you parole, and they'll try to send you to like the fucking weirdest places like DeWitt or Ventura and shit. Like just send me to YTS because that's probably.
Yeah, because they think, you know what I mean, that's you're gonna do better there because it's a program institution, and you know, but like for me in my case, like shit, that was up north and there was northerners there, and I didn't want to be there, and I didn't want to parole. Maybe if I wanted to parole, but I didn't want to parole.
Yeah, because if you want to parole, you have other people there that want to parole. You know, other northerners, other Southsiders that are all on the same page. Like, fuck it, let's just do what we got to do and get out of here. But if you don't have that mindset where you're like, fuck that, I ain't trying to parole, then there's no reason to like be peaceful. Kind of, it's fucked up. You know what I mean? Why is a fucked up place?
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
So, how long did it take for you to get kicked out of there?
A month.
Damn.
2 months. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but I remember I kicked it at first, you know. I was still like waiting, like, okay, what's going on? What's gonna happen? I remember my birthday was coming up too. I remember it was almost February. So I'm really good with memories with dates and shit. But I was like, because I remember telling myself that when my birthday comes, because I was gonna get a visit from way down south. My family was gonna come from Bakersfield, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna wait until my family comes to see me on my birthday, and then I'm just gonna kick this shit off. But this northerner came and he had a SK right here on his arm. Yeah, he had SK in his arm. And I even kind of waited a few days. I was like, nah, like, cause my family's gonna come. My family told me, oh, we ain't gonna make it. So I was like, well, fuck it. I just planned it out. There was like about 5 of us on the unit. There was like 12 of them. And waited till we went to the chow hall to do it. Basically, I remember.
Yeah.
I had I remember this one fool from EPA, East Palo Alto.
Yeah.
He was a more of a paisa, but he ran with the homies. So I mean, it was all the manpower we had, so we whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like this 12 of them. Yes, there's really only me and the real only homie I remember was Looney from Lopers, Orange County.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was active, you know what I mean? Like I was. So we had them basically take off on a few northerners that was in the chow hall line after we ate. And while they did that, me and Looney attacked that fool who had a SK tattoo on him. And we just did our thing. I remember the staff breaking us up. And after they got me on the ground, he started woofing, talking shit from the floor. And I got back up and I ran over there and started stomping him out.
Damn.
They clotheslined my ass.
That'll fuck you up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all they did is just clothesline you. They didn't do nothing else. Like you got off on that one.
Oh no, that's where I went back to YTS.
I was saying the staff because like usually when you do something like that, they'll fuck you up. You know what I mean? Like they'll fucking beat the shit out of you. Like, but that's all they did, just clothesline you. You were just good.
They roughed me up a little bit,
Okay.
but like beat the shit out of me, especially right there, like in the middle of the institution in front of everybody.
Oh yeah. Because you're in the chow. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So many witnesses. So they send you back to YTS, and how long do you finally max out there?
Yeah. I maxed out after that. I said, hey, excuse me, one second. Hey, baby. Cats. Anyways, my bad, bro.
Oh, no problem. So, at what point though did you feel like I know you said you had kids, but and that's what made you want to change. When was that?
As far as changing,
as far as changing and like having the kids, or did you decide to change before you even started having your kids?
I never even made the decision, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
It just happened. I never decided to stop banging. I never decided to change my life. I was just like, I was maxed out, right? So I wasn't on parole. So I was able to do what I wanted. And I still had, when I first got out though, I still had 2 months left until I turned 25.
Yeah.
But no ACT time, actual confinement time.
Yeah.
I didn't have, they couldn't violate me, nothing. But they had jurisdiction on me until I was 25.
Yeah.
And it was only like 3 months away. But I used all those benefits and shit, you know what I mean? Because I didn't have a place to stay. My mom was like just getting kicked out of her place because, she was, by then, she was PCP, now she's on crack and all kinds of shit. Yeah, and so she's kicked out of her place. So I'm going right back to the same web that I came from. And I used the parole as, they're halfway houses and shit as places to stay and different resources they had while I was on the street. But I was still active. I was still, gangbanging. I was still hustling. I wasn't really wasn't like stealing or shit like that. I jacking coming up on fools, more like scheming, like a few credit frauds and shit. And hustling though, hustling by any means.
Yeah.
And that was my way. Because I remember when I first got out, I got
my bad. I think my camera died, G.
Oh, but yeah.
Go ahead, keep talking. My bad.
Yeah, when I first got out, I got hired at Target.
Yeah,
I remember. And it's stupid, bro. Long story short, because I still have you can understand, and you be the first person that I've talked to since I've been out, though, to actually understand this.
Yeah.
It's stupid though, but through our perspective, like I was dumb and like basically I got fucking fired for tagging in the bathroom at
Yeah.
work. Yeah, I hit up, and one of the managers was from Los Primos, was one of my one of my enemy guys. He's seen that shit in there. He's like, I know who that is. He went and snitched on me.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I was like, oh man. So yeah, that didn't last long. I was only 2 months, if that.
Damn. Did you go to the joint or anything, or did you kind of straighten up before you got to that point?
No, I never went to prison. I did a lot of shit that I could have went to prison for, but I just got lucky and shit. It's
So
not, but
no, go ahead. My bad.
well, it's not until I really moved away from Bakersfield to where I was actually able to just re-stabilize my whole life and really, build a foundation and really look at life and be able to see, life through a different angle, just different perspective.
How did that end up happening?
Um, what's up with your camera, girl?
Huh?
Bro, what's up with your camera though?
Oh, it's a phone now. I'm using my phone right now.
Okay, because I can't see you, but it's all good. Basically, that happened around 2012. I was back and forth to my neighborhood because me and my kid's mom lost our apartment, so I was staying at my uncle's house because his son, my little cousin, little Rudy, rest in peace, ended up getting killed.
Oh,
And that,
RIP.
yeah, and so after I had kids, that's what basically brought me back to my neighborhood again. Because I never left and I would come, but when little Rudy passed away, I just came back and I was all right, we're doing this again. So now I'm trying to balance both lives.
Yeah.
I got my kids, and now I'm trying to gang bang, or I am banging, because I'm mad at and upset at what happened to my little cousin. And so I'm doing that for a while, and we're going in and out of hotels, motels, families' houses, and staying in the hood, staying in my enemy's neighborhood. And that's what happened the last place I was at. My mom was in my enemy's neighborhood, and they shot at us at the house a couple of times trying to get me. And it's not because of that, but my mom ended up getting kicked out, evicted. I mean, because she's on drugs. It was almost a trap house and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm staying there with my kids. So there's that and the eviction, to where I'm like, all right, we gotta go. But at that point, I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm like already 30, because I had just turned 30 that year of 2011 when all this is happening, when I moved into my mom's and we're getting kicked out. 2012 was approaching, and I had just got shot at on my birthday that year 30 times on my 30th birthday.
Damn.
And yeah, and like it didn't stop me, but it did have me thinking about things, like, and I did think, like, a lot. Like I would think at night, like, damn, what if I had got hit or something? What if I didn't make it? My kids would have lost me. And now all of a sudden I'm caring, like I'm caring about things. And before I didn't care. Like I've been shot, I've been shot at a lot of times, and I didn't think, oh, what if I would have died? I just would have died. That's what my thought would have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have died. Big deal. Whatever. We all die.
Yeah.
But
We used to say, if I get killed, I won't live to remember it.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like I ain't gonna know. But fuck it. But now I got, I got babies and shit. I got kids, and now that does affect me. It would affect them, and I do care about them. I do love them. So I'm like, damn. So I got to make decisions. So basically, long story short, I moved to Oregon. One of my homegirls lived in Eugene, and I went to Eugene for a little bit, and that shit's too small. I couldn't do it. And it's me and my oldest son, because me and my oldest son and my son's mom agreed to basically split up because we weren't getting along, and take the kids, you know what I mean? She apart basically for the time being until we both get on our feet. And I took the oldest and she took the youngest. So I came up here, I left Eugene and came to Portland. So that's where I'm at now. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and I've been here since 2012. But when I first got here, it was just like, it was hard. I didn't know anybody. And Portland's a big ass city, especially compared to Bakersfield.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really the only city in Oregon. It's like Portland and Seattle up here in the Northwest. And I didn't know where I was at, know what to do. So I just we had to sleep in parks. We had to sleep alongside the river. It goes right through the middle of the city. Yeah, I mean, we had to go through homeless programs. And I just kept my head up, bro. I even when I was homeless, you couldn't tell I was homeless. I would ask people for help and shit, and they would look at me like, and I still had that gangster mentality, I still had the mentality, the way I behaved, and the way I dressed too. It was like, clean white shoes, I'm all clean, fitted hat. I did not look homeless at all, except for the backpack I'm carrying. So, yeah, people didn't even believe I was homeless, and some people were reluctant to help me and shit because they didn't believe me. And I was like, no, I don't know where the fuck I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just built from there until I started I got housing and shit, and was able to start applying for employment. I started going through the temp agencies, and I would work with them for a couple of years, and to where I ended up now, basically, full-time job, work making like $20 an hour, and I usually get lots of overtime, and I just made it. It's not a fluke. It's not like temporary. I've been doing it for like a decade now almost. It was a rough start, but yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And let me ask you, if there's a young kid thinking about banging, or he gets out of jail and he doesn't know if he wants to go straight or hit the hood again, what kind of advice would you give him?
Well, my advice would be to definitely not hit the hood again.
Yeah.
But then again, it's hard to say because, what options does that little kid have, Because like me, I didn't have nowhere to go. So it was like, I had a lot of dreams when I was in YTS before I got out. When I maxed out, that I want to do this and that, but I didn't have any doors, that were open for me, any window of opportunity. So, but what I would say is, right from wrong, and just keep on the right path. And the right path is going to be a lot harder than the wrong path. It's easy to fuck up. Yeah, it's easy to fuck up. It's easy to go the wrong path, but the consequences ain't easy. What you're gonna go through ain't easy.
Oh yeah, dope. And let me ask, what would you say the future looks like for you? What would you want to do?
The future looks bright for me. I mean, I'm really proud of my past and who I am from. Yeah, I wouldn't change that because that made me who I am today. And I still got, much love for where I'm from. You know what I mean? And all the homies, and especially everybody that's gone through this. And I see a lot of your interviews, and it makes me proud. And it gives me a lot of hope. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, he made it. You know what I mean? He made it too. You know what I mean? And he understands this, what I'm feeling in this situation, or what I did and why I did it this way. Because they know too. You know what I mean? And they're out here in society. It's like, yeah, it's like you can make it, because all of us were told a lot of times, that the odds are against us, that most of us end up dead and in prison, which, yeah, a lot of them did. Yeah. But not everybody. And those are decisions, like when I leave Bakersfield, I knew, when I came up here, I still had that gangbang attitude. Like I said, I still was telling people where I'm from and all this shit. And they looking at me like, huh? Like what?
They don't want anything.
Yeah. And the gangsters that are up here are weird, it's different and shit. It's like, man, nah, I don't even want to claim myself to be a gangster if that's what gangsters are up here, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, but so, it's all about your attitude and the way you go about things. But I wouldn't have been able to convert gradually if I was still in Bakersfield because,
Yeah.
I just wouldn't have that opportunity.
Yeah. And
It
that,
was,
that's
yeah,
that's one thing that I learned doing this is that, like you said, I felt lonely for a while, like, damn, like, cause you read the reports, right? Like recidivism, especially from YA, was like 95% or some shit like that, which is like the
yeah,
highest in the nation. So I was like, damn, all my boys are gone. Like, that's it. Like, what the fuck? And then as they get older, you start to see everybody moves at their own pace. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
now doing these interviews, I get to see there's a lot of good, solid homies that have made something different of their life. You know what I mean? They bettered their lives. And it's like you said, it is a good feeling because it's
yeah,
like, damn, they understand and they've been through that and they made it out.
yeah,
And that's dope. And it sometimes, it takes, I hear a lot religion, moving out, like what's that, 12-step programs, whatever it takes. I always say, go for it. You know what I mean? If that's what it takes for
yeah.
you to be a better person, handle that shit.
Mhm.
Like shit, you got all like I'll back your play. You know what I mean? Like that, because if that's what it takes.
Yeah, like, and even their growth, especially like to see how mature we've all become from as immature as we were. Like the immaturity that we experienced and went through and is beyond most of society's comprehension of the things that went down in there and how we played our games
Yeah.
and the way our minds were. And to see, what I mean, us as grown men be like, what the fuck was I doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, what was that? Like,
Yeah. Like,
damn.
what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we said, the staff had a lot to do with that, man. They contributed to that. So it's like, man, it's like shame on them.
Oh
Big time.
fuck yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And before we wrap it up, is there anything else you wanted to say?
Nah, bro, I got a few more stories in between my stays. You wanna chop it up with me another time?
Oh yeah, for
Uh
sure.
yeah, like I could fill you in well, like the parent grandparents program.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not any stories to get into behind that. So I could just tell you real quick that yeah, they were I was the one that commented on that because I heard somebody ask about it, or you were wondering if they were up north. They were in OH
Okay.
too, and they weren't really manipulated like what I hear about now. Still,
Yeah. That was something else,
yeah,
man.
yeah. I
Yeah.
remember one time somebody like because they brought a bird and we had a pet bird in that littlest unit that I told you about,
Yeah.
and it was the grandparents, but we had it there, and somebody fried that shit in the microwave.
Oh, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah, I
Psycho
know
ass fucking kids, man.
exactly. Fucking kids.
Well, I know it's gonna be your birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, G. And you're gonna hit the
Looking
casino tonight. So hopefully by the time I post this, you're a millionaire because you hit that big time, dog. You know what I mean?
right, right.
So good luck tonight, G.
And you're in my thoughts, bro. Don't even trip if I'm a millionaire. You're in my thoughts.
I'll take that. Appreciate it, dog. And with
All right.
that, we out.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.